Wisdom of God and Man, Part 7, The Church. This author, including the reader, has promised here and there throughout the last 4 books of wisdom to talk about church and going to church. Church could not be discussed before this point because every person and minister needs to consider the truth about Mighty God Ahia, the truth of mankind, and the truth of this life before ever considering what little truth there is to be found in a church. Church is a man-made entity. Mighty God Ahia, mankind, and this life are not man-made. Going to church will not be found in any word of Mighty God Ahia, including the Bible, the Quran, the Buddhist faith, the Hindu faith, or any other faith that truly possesses the word of Mighty God Ahia. People search all through the word of Mighty God Ahia trying to claim that one passage here or there says we are to gather on the first day for this or that reason, in the first day meaning Sunday. Well, the words are just not there, period. The truth of the matter is that Mighty God Ahia, our Creator, says nothing through any faith about going to church. Going to church on Sunday was invented by a religion, the devil, and all his cohorts that was being formed in Rome some 300 years after Yeshua, our Messiah, death, after he died. Remember that Yeshua, our Messiah, had plenty of time to tell us to go to church on Sundays, but he never did. The word Sunday or first day never once came out of Yeshua's mouth, period. Therefore, anything regarding this is just people making things up. The man's name was Constantine, who declared Christianity the state religion of the Roman Empire. This was one of the major events of Satan in the history of mankind. This church forming in Rome desperately needed to loosen its ties to Jerusalem, exactly as the king of the northern 10 tribes of Israel did shortly after Solomon's death. Satan will always present much but not all of the truth in order to sell his lies, to move us in the opposite direction that Mighty God Ahia, our Heavenly Father, wants. No, Constantine was not Satan, and no, the Catholic Church is not Satan, but long ago, during the foundation of their church, Satan was able to influence both Constantine and the upstart church. Satan, knowing of our love for tradition, patiently watched his seeds of lies take root and then grow. So 300 years after Yeshua, our Messiah, died, church leaders were in a quandary as to which way they should believe. Saturday with the Jews, who are the descendants of Judah and most Christian or believers of the time, or Sunday with the new Christian upstart in Rome. Remember, church leaders were in a quandary. Normal people had no problem following the commandments of Mighty God Ahia. Well, this fellow Constantine settled this for all time and made it a law. Laws are a good way to start a tradition, but they do not always make something right. Funny how when you learn how a particular tradition started and why it started, how less important this tradition becomes all of a sudden. Read for yourself what Mighty God Ahia said about the Sabbath, the 7th day, in Exodus 20, verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days thou shalt labor and do all thy work, but the 7th day, on the current day calendar, is Saturday, is the Sabbath of Mighty God Ahia, thy El Elohi, our mighty God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant or thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days Mighty God Ahia made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the 7th day. Wherefore Mighty God Ahia blessed the Sabbath day, which is the 7th day, and hallowed it. Never let any person add to these words of Mighty God Ahia. Constantine, which was a Roman, and others added to these words. They shall answer to Mighty God Ahia for this, but never will have to answer to us. Make your own decisions regarding this and use your common sense. Mighty God Ahia, our Creator, said we can or possibly should work 6 days each week toward the life we live here, but we are to rest on the last day of the week. We must rest. Our families must rest. Those who take orders from us must rest. Even the animals we use for work must rest. Any visitor or guest in your house must rest. Mighty God Ahia said one other thing: to keep this day holy. What does holy mean? You can look this word up in your dictionary, but you will not discover what it meant over 3,000 years ago when Mighty God Ahia said it. So use your common sense. Dictionaries always give what a word means in today's world first. Use your own common sense first, but to this author, holy means to keep it pure, the way it was meant to be. Mighty God Ahia, our Creator, is simple and does not want anything in this life to be complicated. If we are to keep one day holy, we must make it a special day, apart from all of the rest of the week. This day must not change, so we do not work, period. None of this disagrees with the ancient Hebrew word Kadesh, used in the Bible for holy. Kadesh basically means to separate. Whatever you decide the word holy means in your life, just do it, and do not worry about others and their lives. Did Mighty God Ahia say we are to worship Him on this day? No, Mighty God Ahia could have said this, but He did not. Never let anyone add to what Mighty God Ahia said or did not say. Mighty God Ahia said to keep this day very special above all others in the week, and to do no work. Rest is good, and Mighty God Ahia is telling us how good it is. How difficult is any of this? El Elohi Ahia tells us to rest one day out of 7. Rest from what? Rest from our work, rest from our vanity, rest from our decisions, our mistakes, and all those adversaries found in our lives, but mostly rest from Satan, because Satan is not wholly pure. Satan truly has 6 days per week to influence our lives as we work and chase our vanities. This is normal and this is part of life. But Mighty God Ahia says you only need 1 day out of 7 to rest, totally rest from your labors, and then truly appreciate the beauty of this life you have been given. The beauty of this life includes your family, your friends, and those treasured fruits obtained by way of your labor. If you learn anything from Solomon's 2 books, you learn this. El Elohi Ahia, or Yeshua our Messiah, never said otherwise, nor did Mighty God Ahia or Yeshua his son ever call these things vanities. There never has been a person who has not sinned, does not sin, or will not sin. Yeshua our Messiah himself said this in Luke 17:1. Then said he unto the disciples, it is impossible but that offenses will come, but woe unto him through whom they come. El Elohi, which means mighty God, Ahia, wants us to totally rest from life 1 day per week, and he does not even say we have to worship him. We only have to rest. Your eyes have now read this truth and heard it, and your common sense tells you this is the truth. If you want to go to church on Sunday, then by all means go. But El Elohi, our mighty God and Creator, Ahia, never forbid this. But do not forget to keep El Elohi Ahia's Sabbath day, the 7th day, and rest, totally rest. Keep the Sabbath will truly help you in this life. So what is a church? If Mighty God Ahia never commanded us to go to church, then what is church? Obviously, church is optional. Obviously, church is man-made. Church can be good and church can be bad. Only you can make it either. At this point, your common sense should be telling you that church is something man-made, invented in the hopes of doing good, with each church succeeding in this way or that, and each church failing in this way or that. The Hindu religion teaches some to die of starvation while a healthy cow walks by them. This is obviously wrong. The Muslim religion teaches some that those who are not of their faith are infidels and must die. This is obviously wrong. The Catholic faith taught this author that any non-Catholic would burn in hell forever. This is obviously wrong, and this author has many Baptist friends who were taught the opposite being true. All churches' religion, which are legion of devils, are right, and all churches' religions are wrong. Religion means legion or religion. Now examine churches from a common sense point of view. How many miracles have you heard about within the Catholic Church people? How many miracles have you heard about regarding the laying on the hands to heal people within the Baptist Church? How many miracles have you heard about Jehovah's Witnesses regarding healing after they refuse this or that medical treatment? How many Jewish nations of Israel managed to survive so long being surrounded by enemies? Since the rebirth of Israel after World War II, all that its enemies had to do was to unite and then just walk into Israel, killing every Jew in sight. Israel can withstand any two of its enemies, but it has never been able to withstand all of them. Israel just does not possess enough people and bullets to withstand all of its enemies. Obviously, the hand of mighty God Ahia has been with Israel for all of this time. Given all of Israel's magnificent efforts, there is not one sane person living in Israel who would deny the part of mighty God Ahia has played in its existence. Regarding miracles, people have everything backward. Catholics see some statue bleed, a few people being healed, and then credit their Catholic religion. Catholics see this and say to themselves, yes, I belong to the one true faith of God. God has shown me this. Baptists see a few people being healed by the laying on of hands and say to themselves, yes, I belong to the one true faith of mighty God Ahia. El Elohi Ahia has shown me this. Likewise with Seventh-day Adventists, Jehovah's Witnesses, Mormons, Jews, Muslims, Buddhists, Hindus, and strange as it seems, people with no religion, afflictions at all, non-denominations. Maybe, just maybe, we should never consider a church or its beliefs as part of mighty God Ahia's miracles. Maybe we should consider the miracle itself as coming from mighty God Ahia, who is the sole source of all miracles, and one person's faith in mighty God Ahia, need for mighty God Ahia, and past works that cause our El Elohi Ahia to love that person so much that God can do nothing but weep for that person and pour his heart out to that person. We will never know the reason for mighty God Ahia's miracles in this world, but it is absolutely clear that religious beliefs have nothing to do with miracles. Our common sense has to tell us this much. If the Catholic Church was right, nothing good would ever happen to Baptists, Hindus, Muslims, Jews, Buddhists, or any other religion. Likewise with every other faith. Mighty God Ahia, our Creator, has spread his love around this world to show every person of any or no faith that we are all indeed his children, his offspring. El Elohi Ahia has never shown favoritism. He's not a respecter of persons. Every miracle by El Elohi Ahia in this world is between mighty God Ahia and that person receiving his help. Church has no part of a miracle because church is man-made. Miracles come from mighty God Ahia. Miracles are given to people. Knowing this to be true, we still must consider the place church plays in our life. Hopefully that question has been answered in your own heart by now. No church and no religion has ever saved a single person since the beginning of time, but El Elohi Ahia has, our Heavenly Father has. Believe that there is a mighty God Ahia, our Heavenly Father, our Creator, somewhere. Know what he has waiting for you during the next billion or so years. Work on that mustard seed's worth of faith here in this world, and live your life loving all other people in this world. Do this, and mighty God Ahia will heap his blessings upon you more than you are able to contain. Knowing this, any person choosing a church needs to do so only in hopes of finding a church that will teach them what mighty God Ahia has said to us. A church should teach us about our adversaries in this life, including Satan, and how Satan has influenced this world and our religion. No church should ever teach people that Satan has no control over their lives. This is Satan's greatest deception in the world, and churches are the sole proprietaries of this great deception. Now, any church that cannot explain how the last day of the week, El Elohi Ahia's Sabbath, was moved to the first day of the week should seriously examine the word of mighty God Ahia found in their Bible. Any church that cannot explain how graven images and graven altars found their way inside the church's four walls should consider a simple return to mighty God Ahia's commandments given to mankind. We are talking about 10 simple commandments here, my friend. Church should teach us about our place in the kingdom of heaven someday, if and only if our life here warrants a place in that kingdom. Church should teach us that all people make mistakes and will never cease doing so. All any of us can do is to learn from our own mistakes, never judge others by their mistakes, and to help those others in our lives that are trying to recover from their mistakes. So choose your church according to the common sense you have. The word of Mighty God Ahaya you now call your own Elohi Ahaya's teachings, not your personal beliefs. And leave any church that fails in either of these. Oh, my friend, church, if you so choose, can be such a powerful good force in your life if you guard your life and guard Elohi's highest word found in your heart and found in your Bible, Quran, Torah, etc. Church is a man-made entity. If your Muslim cleric teaches you to hate or use violence against any other person, then leave that cleric and find one that understands the true word of Mighty God Ahaya. If your Baptist minister teaches you to learn the word of Mighty God Ahaya and apply this goodness toward all others in their own pursuit of Mighty God Ahaya's kingdom, then cling to this minister with all your might. If your Presbyterian minister ever walks into your church and tells you to leave right now for home, get into your blue jeans, and meet him or her on the other side of town to help disaster victims clean up their mess, then realize that you have found a person who truly knows what it means to love one another as Mighty God Ahaya has loved you. Church was created by mankind, not Mighty God Ahaya. Church is supposed to be about people, a simple knowledge of Mighty God Ahaya, a mustard seed's worth of faith, and an entire lifetime of living with your decisions, mistakes, and lessons learned. No matter what you believe, read what people call the four Gospels found in the New Testament. You do not even have to believe what you read if you so choose. Just read these four short books, noticing that Mighty God Ahaya did not come here to teach us much about himself. Mighty God Ahaya came here to teach us about life. He came here to teach us about us. Notice also that Yeshua, our Messiah, never told us how to live our life. We have free will. He left all decisions to us. Church is supposed to be about people wanting to live the life Mighty God Ahaya asks us to live. Church is supposed to be about doing something with your life that will make you love your life once you learn why you have been given your life. The reality of today's world is that church is now only about God. We spend 1 hour or so listening to someone whose last goal is to hurt our feelings. Well, truth hurts and life can be hard. Solomon taught us that open rebuke is better than a deceitful kiss. The wounds of a friend are still faithful. You are about to receive a healthy dose of Solomon's wisdom here. Elohi Ahaya has given you enough truth and wisdom to overcome this life and to deal with the pain of truth. Church is not about you. Church is about people. Churches have gotten everything backward over the past 2,000 years. This final third of our existence where we live during a famine of Elohi's word spoken of in Amos 8:11. Amos 8:11. Behold, the days come, said Mighty God Ahaya, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread nor of thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Mighty God Ahaya. Church has grown into an institution where committees are formed to oversee doctrine and their church's adherence to that doctrine. Never is one person allowed to stand up in church and scream for their minister to teach them about life rather than God, because Mighty God Ahaya is simple. Amos 8:12. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of Elohi Ahaya, and they shall not find it. This is Mighty God Ahaya's word describing the truth of all churches today. To all churches today, read that again. All churches. Know that you have failed Mighty God Ahaya and failed to feed his sheep. You absolutely understand the words of Amos spoken almost 3,000 years ago apply to you today. Yet you have done nothing about this except to pursue your vanities, your doctrine, your grand buildings, and oh so precious collections. Know that it is not too late for you to change. Your wisdom comes in what follows to all people, Elohi Ahaya's sheep. To all people, when you do ever find a church that teaches this simple truth of Mighty God Ahaya and also teaches you to get out and do something with your life, then you have truly found a precious thing in this world. The name of this church matters not, because the name by which we called El Elohim Haya matters not. A church should guard the lives of its people. Yes, that word is spelled correctly. It means one person at a time. Oh, church can be a wonderful thing in this life if it is done properly. Your heart will know, your body will know, and your common sense will know when you have found a church that teaches you to build your life around this world, your future, and the word of mighty God Ahaya. This author, including the reader, will never belong to a church or organized religion, but that does not make this author right. The Catholic Church, to a small degree, and this author's Catholic mother, to a large degree, taught this author long ago to always help those less fortunate than himself. This author can never take away from the Catholic Church those lessons of life that he learned during those 200 or 2 hours each Sunday in his youth. But this author cannot take away from his common sense the day his Sunday school teacher bragged about the Catholic Church being offered $2 million for a piece of paper containing Henry VIII's request for the divorce. The Catholic Church decided to hold on to this silly piece of paper while this 10-year-old author was advised to go without so other starving people would have food. Children can so easily see through the vanities of adults in this life. This author has many Baptist friends who tell of similar stories. This author considers his life to be a blessing and a curse. A curse because this author has lived a life of poverty to which any of his friends can attest. But this author is so content with what he does have that all he desires is to give unto others as mighty God Ahaya has given such as charm life to him. This author has done more stupid things and has made more mistakes in his life than mostly any person reading these books or listening to my voice, but this author has never failed to see mighty God Ahaya's blessing in his life and has always tried to help those people he was capable of helping. This author has but 20 or so years remaining in this life, and if he spends these remaining years in poverty, then nothing has changed and none of this is bad. Life goes, so never let your vanities control your life. You will always have your vanities, just as this author in this. We are all equal. Guard your life well, putting evil out of your sight. Appoint leaders who will do the same at the local, regional, and national levels. It does not matter what party your political or politicians belong to, if they will follow this first rule of government by mighty God Ahaya, guarding your vanities. Know that power and money will corrupt any person, and leader have both. When leaders are found to possess this corruption, deal with it swiftly and thoroughly. Remove all power and money from this corrupt leader and then leave this person alone to make their life right. Knowing that we all can fail, give what we have in this life. Gerald Ford was considered by many to be a worthless president, but Gerald Ford was a common man, no different than any person reading this book. What Gerald Ford did was to teach America and the world our greatest lessons of modern day regarding power and corruption of leaders. Gerald Ford knew what the term quick and thorough meant, and he did what he did despite our vanities, despite our hatred. This made him a very good leader. Concerning life, Gerald Ford did not help Richard Nixon in any form or fashion. Gerald Ford helped this nation and perhaps taught this nation its greatest lessons ever regarding vanity. Deal with evil and vanity by putting it out of your sight. What Gerald Ford did was so simple that it was perfect, even if Americans did get mad. Learn the lesson of Richard Nixon, Spiro Agnew, and Gerald Ford, and see what one common person can accomplish in this world. Then make this lesson your own. Gerald Ford was the only president of the United States that had no part of being elected to the position, and he was the perfect person for the job. Does this tell you anything? Gerald Ford did not have enough time to be corrupted, and he was the perfect person for the job. So be that worthless person who teaches others through their deeds. Be that common person who works their own personal miracles, knowing what is right, doing what they know. These obscure lessons in life, barely remembered by most and never known by many, are a very good example of how life should be taught in churches. We do not need help learning about mighty God Ahaya. These 4 books have shown that every person on the face of the earth is capable of finding mighty God Ahaya should they so choose to do so. But we all need help or support actually in dealing with the 99% of our life, the decisions, mistakes, and lessons learned throughout our week. Yeshua, our Messiah, said our faith in Mighty God Ahaya can truly be but a mustard seed in this life. This mustard seed is a very good thing, but keep it and Mighty God Ahaya in the proper perspective. No matter what, we must all face life in this world. When told properly, people love history because it shows them that they truly are no worse off than others. History teaches us that no matter how big we think our problems are, that there are always others with bigger problems. Life teaches us that bad things happening is normal, and there are always ways to deal with this. Messiah Yeshua came here to teach us a little about himself, more about what awaits us in the kingdom of Mighty God Ahaya, and mostly about this life. Yeshua's last command to his apostles was to feed his sheep, and he drove the point home 3 times. John 21:15 to John 21:17. So when they had dined, Yeshua said to Simon Peter, Simon, son of Jonas, love thou me more than these? He said unto him, Yea, Master, thou knowest that I love thee. He said unto him, Feed my lambs. He said to him again the second time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? And he said, Yes, my king, thou knowest that I love thee. He said unto him, Feed my sheep. He said unto him the third time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? Peter was grieved because he said unto him the third time, Lovest thou me? And he said unto him, Master, thou knowest all things, thou knowest that I love thee. Yeshua said unto him, Feed my sheep. This is El Elohi, Mighty God Ahaya's most important command to any minister, and should be the last fleeting, though, thought that goes through any minister's mind before they fall asleep each night. So how does one feed Mighty God Ahaya's sheep? One does this exactly by following Yeshua's examples. A church should teach but a little about Mighty God Ahaya, leaving that decision to the free will each person has been given in this life. A church should teach more about the kingdom of Mighty God Ahaya that is our future, which truly is the essence of all hope in this life, our next billion or so years. Finally, a church should teach much about this life and our adversaries found in this life. Again, allowing each person to make their own decision as Mighty God Ahaya's free will allow us. So how does one know if their church is feeding Mighty God Ahaya's sheep? Your spirit will know as much as your body knows when it is being fed empty calories. Your spirit will know when it is being fed empty religion. The miracle of Mighty God Ahaya's design allows life to prove that mustard seed worth of faith that is required someday. Do not expect church to provide that mustard seed for you. If you freely choose to pursue only your vanities in this life, then you will entirely miss Mighty God Ahaya's design. If you freely decide that you can only fight this life because life can only hurt you, then you will entirely miss Mighty God Ahaya's design. This is exactly what it meant by the term free will. This is exactly the reason Mighty God Ahaya spoke the following words. Mighty God Ahaya spoke these words to his apostles. Matthew 13:13. Therefore speak I to them in parables, because they seeing see not, and hearing they hear not, neither do they understand. Yeshua our Messiah, some call Christ, was not speaking about churches per se. He was mostly speaking about ordinary people. This might hurt your feelings, but it is true. To all churches, take heed of Mighty God Ahaya's design for this life, and make his design your truth. Allow Mighty God Ahaya's children their free will. Allow Mighty God Ahaya's truth its place in this world regarding the failures of mankind because of our free will. Mighty God Ahaya's gift to mankind truly is free will to teach mankind accordingly. El Elohi Ahaya's gift to mankind is not himself. His gift is free will. Your gift to Mighty God Ahaya's sheep is to teach them about life. If you do this well, they will indeed find Mighty God Ahaya by way of their own free will, and then they will begin to ask you about Mighty God Ahaya. This is the magic of Mighty God Ahaya's truth in this life, that a life well lived will always lead to Mighty God Ahaya. Your gift to Mighty God Ahaya's sheep will help them find the beginning of that path. If you are a minister of Mighty God Ahaya's sheep, read this last sentence again. Feed all El Elohi's highest sheep. Every flock contains sheep of every age. Age is not measured in years. Age is measured according to a person's control and acceptance of their free will and vanities. Mighty God Ahaya never told you to feed only certain sheep. Every message you preach must apply to every member of Mighty God Ahai's flock, no matter their age, no matter their control over their free will and vanities. Every message you preach must address Mighty God Ahai's entire flock, regardless of their maturity. Do not speak up or down to Mighty God Ahai's children. All people are capable of discerning the truth of this life using their common sense. Just speak the truth of Mighty God Ahai regarding life on this planet. Feed Mighty God Ahai's sheep. Elohi Ahai's message in Revelation regarding the churches of today in the end time is exactly the same Yeshaya words to the Jewish faith of his days. You have everything backwards. In some form or fashion, nearly every church has everything backwards. Remember always that mustard seed's worth of faith and what great works it can accomplish in people's lives. People do not need a sycamore tree worth of faith to accomplish little things in their lives. Spend your time on these enormous feats that Mighty God Ahai's children are able to accomplish in their lives. Mighty God Ahai's children can accomplish anything they desire, so direct that free will toward life as found on this planet Earth. These 4 books of wisdom have done exactly this, as hopefully you have noted. Your task may seem daunting, but all you have to do is to care about Mighty God Ahai's flock and have faith in Mighty God Ahai's message to all mankind. Always remember and have faith in Mighty God Ahai's flock that a 10-year-old child can recognize the truth as quickly as a 50-year-old adult, if it is presented properly, free of all vanity. Those poor children, they have such a problem understanding vanity. Now truth, children have no problem dealing with the truth. Allow every person to grow according to their own design and abilities. Trust in their abilities to learn and trust in your abilities to feed. Your knowledge of the truth and mankind's ability to understand the truth of free will shall be the foundation of your patience. For the most part, this is all Mighty God Ahai ever counts on. In this, please feed Mighty God Ahai's sheep. As a final note to all churches, Mighty God Ahai has never, through any faith, told any church or minister to care about him. Mighty God Ahai has only instructed his ministers, priests, prophets, and teachers to care about his children, us. Only Satan has taught this world to care about Mighty God Ahai because Satan wants to be God. Satan could care less about us and our lives. And we're going to stop at that. We'll get into part 8 tomorrow. Thank you for listening.